my name is Ashlyn, and I have narcolepsy type 1, which is also known as narcolepsy with cataplexy. In today's video, I am sharing information, promoting awareness, I guess. I'll be explaining what narcolepsy is, what cataplexy is, and how it affects me personally, and how it could possibly affect others with the condition. Like any other medical condition, it varies person to person. So hopefully I can clear up some common misconceptions about narcolepsy because it's different for everybody. Anyways, I also have a video of a cataplexy attack, which isn't super common because it is involuntary. You can't make yourself do it. It happens quickly and it doesn't last very long. But I do have a video. It's a little concerning to watch, I know. But I'm fine, and it is embarrassing for me to show. But I thought it would be great to show not only medical professionals that see this video, but also the general public. If you saw this happening to somebody out and about during your daily lives, you would most likely be concerned. I've seen a few other videos where people are claiming to have a cataplexy attack, and it kind of just looks like they're falling asleep for a few seconds. They also stated once they wake up. That sounds more like a narcolepsy attack, which you are falling asleep for a few seconds. Cataplexy is completely different. So I will show you what a true, real cataplexy attack looks like. Anyways, getting into what is narcolepsy in the first place. Narcolepsy is a condition where your brain does not promote wakefulness correctly, and it also does not regulate your sleep cycles correctly. So normal people go through multiple stages of sleep. Stage 1, where you're falling asleep. Stage 2 is where you're in light sleep. Stage 3, deep sleep. And stage 4 is REM sleep, where your body is paralyzed and you are dreaming. Most people enter that REM sleep within an hour to an hour and 30 minutes after falling asleep. People with narcolepsy can fall into that REM sleep within 15 minutes of falling asleep or sooner. So that is actually how I got diagnosed with it. You do a sleep study where it consists of 5 naps. They give you a nap for 20 minutes. You only have 20 minutes to fall asleep. Then they wake you up 2 hours later. You'll take another nap for 20 minutes, and so on and so forth. So it was a long process that took pretty much all day, and it was really hard, to be honest, because I was just so tired, and they wouldn't let you fall asleep within those 2 hours that you had between the naps. You had to stay awake the whole time. And they'd only give you 20-minute naps, and I was like, I need more time, I'm so tired. Anyways, in those 5 naps, to get the narcolepsy diagnosis, you have to enter REM sleep twice within those 20 minutes. So by the time the nurse turns the light off and leaves the room, you have to fall asleep and enter REM sleep twice. I think my fastest time falling asleep after she left was a minute, and my fastest time entering REM sleep was like 2 minutes and something seconds after I fell asleep. So definitely not the normal hour to an hour and a half that normal people enter REM sleep in. So what does it mean to have narcolepsy? Well, number 1, you're tired all the time, no matter how much you sleep. The most common misconception people get is that I fall asleep doing anything and everything. Like, once people figure out, or I tell them that I have narcolepsy, they're like, well, how do you live? How do you do things? And, well, like everybody else, I just have to schedule naps throughout the day. I don't just fall asleep while shopping at the grocery store. That's not how it goes. Yeah, I feel tired, but I don't just fall asleep. There are people with narcolepsy who have narcolepsy sleep attacks, where it is an overwhelming urge to fall asleep. Some people can't resist that urge and can fall asleep for a few seconds to a couple minutes, and then they'd wake up and go about whatever they were doing. I myself only have sleep attacks if I am laying down. I've noticed, like if I'm laying down watching a video on my phone, I may fall asleep, have a sleep attack for a couple seconds and miss part of the video and have to go back. But I don't have them when I'm sitting or standing or doing things. Some people may. And that's where the misconception, the wide common misconception comes in, that we fall asleep doing anything and everything, and that's just not it. It varies person to person. So I will say I do fall asleep often, not a narcolepsy attack, but I doze off and can fall asleep for like an hour, that like take a nap, when I am sitting down and my brain's not active. Like if I'm sitting down watching TV, or if I am sitting down at a computer doing boring paperwork, yeah, I may doze off. Realize all of these things happen more when I'm like sitting down and my brain's not stimulated or being as productive as it could be. But it doesn't happen while I'm standing. I don't fall asleep while I'm standing. In turn, if I'm sitting down at a computer playing my favorite video game, I'm not going to fall asleep. There's no way I'm falling asleep. My brain's active and engaged in what I'm doing. But there are those people that I guess have narcolepsy and do fall asleep while doing those things. But it's not everybody. So before I get into what cataplexy is, I'm going to explain that there's two types of narcolepsy. You could have narcolepsy type 1, which is narcolepsy with cataplexy, what I have, or you could have type 2, which is just narcolepsy by itself, so you don't have the cataplexy. What's cataplexy? A lot of people haven't heard about it. I know my other doctors have no idea what it is. I said, oh, I was diagnosed with narcolepsy with cataplexy, and they're like, what the heck is that? Well, let me tell you, it is a loss of muscle control. Very convenient. So going back to what I said earlier in the video about REM sleep. REM sleep's where your body enters the paralysis and is dreaming. People with type 1 narcolepsy with cataplexy have a lack of hypocretin in the brain. So yeah, big surprise. We're missing something up there. So that chemical regulates the sleep cycle. People with cataplexy enter that REM sleep paralysis while they are awake. The most distinguishing factor of true cataplexy is that when you are having a cataplexy attack, you are 100% awake, 100% conscious. I can hear, feel if people touch me. I just can't move or speak my body, which is where some people, I think, get confused with narcolepsy attacks and cataplexy attacks, because I've seen a few videos where people are claiming it's a cataplexy attack, but the video looks more to me like a narcolepsy sleep attack, where they're falling asleep for a few seconds, and they even say once they wake up. People with cataplexy, we are not asleep during this. We are 100% awake and aware the entire time a cataplexy attack is happening. We don't lose any time like you would if you were dozing off with a narcolepsy attack. We are there in the moment. We just can't move or speak. So, well, how do you know it's going to happen? Well, you don't. But it's usually triggered by strong emotions such as anger or sadness or fear, or annoyance, but most oftentimes it is positive emotions like happiness, excitement, joy. For me, it usually happens when I find something funny, or I'm joking around with a friend. I've noticed that mine happens more often with people I am comfortable with and joke around with a lot, and it's usually their reaction to something I also find funny, or something funny that I've said that they react to is when I myself have cataplexy. That's most often the case. So, people with cataplexy, it could happen once a week, it could happen once a month, it could happen a few times a year. Unfortunately for me, it happens multiple times a day. But there are varying degrees in cataplexy attacks. Most of the time, for me, it is a split-second thing. Like my knees will give out for a split second, or my neck will give out for a split second. I'll kind of bob like that. Most people don't even realize that it's happened. 95% of the time, those are my cataplexy attacks. A more, I guess, moderate reaction would be my upper body giving out for 5-10 seconds. Anyways, a severe reaction would be a complete collapse where my entire body is out, which is what I show in the video. That doesn't happen super often for me. And it happens more often when I'm at home with my boyfriend. Like, I could say something like really stupid but funny, and he could just give me a look and I'm out. I can, to a degree, resist it if I'm standing and get to the floor or closer to the floor, so I don't absolutely smack it. But it is not something that you can completely control. It's inevitable. You may be able to fend it off for a few seconds. In the video I'm going to show you in a little bit, it is a full collapse. I have days where my cataplexy is worse than others, more frequent and more severe. That particular day, I had a full collapse 3 times already. Usually I only have a full collapse like once a week. So I took my chances on it happening again. So I set up my video camera and I was like, let's watch a funny video or funny movie. And I got it on camera. I wanted to be able to show my friends and family because this is a newer thing, the full collapses. I've had like the small ones for a while, but the full collapses are newer, and I wanted to be able to show them what it looks like, so if it happened while I'm around them, they wouldn't freak out, because it's freaky looking. I guess I will go ahead and show you guys the video. I'll kind of caption on the video what's happening, because there are kind of 2 separate ones or attacks where I'm out and then I'm up for a couple seconds and then I'm trying to resist the second one, but it's inevitable and I go down. The camera's not at a perfect angle. It's embarrassing to show. I don't look super cute, but I think it's important to show and informative. So here it is.
Excuse me, you know where the crapper is? I can drop off some timber.
Go away.
Men like the women with a little bit of mystery. So get back over there and try it again.
Excuse me. You know where the crapper is? I have to do a very mysterious thing in there. Drop off some timber.
That's great.
So you have just seen my cataplexy attack. That is something that is super embarrassing and hard to post online, but I feel like it is important to show, like I've said. What should you do if you see something like that in public? I would prefer if nobody touched me, unless I'm in some sort of immediate danger. Please move me out of the way. But it usually only lasts 30 seconds to 2 minutes at tops. So it's not a 30-minute thing. If you saw it, you'd probably want to call 911. Please don't. I'm fine. It's not painful. If you ask me if I'm okay afterwards, yeah, I totally understand that. But if you're asking me, well, while it is happening, I won't be able to respond to you. So if you see somebody having a similar attack out in public, and it's lasting more than 3 minutes, it's probably not a cataplexy attack and you may need to call 911. So how do you feel? You feel like you know a little bit more? I feel like we've grown closer because you've seen me at my most vulnerable. So I would appreciate no negative comments. There's always going to be those people that do leave negative comments and say something like, oh, you look stupid while that's happening. You know what? That is actually exactly what I'm thinking in the moment. I can feel my face twitching. I'm like, I probably look like an idiot right now. Yeah. Anyways, if you have any questions, go ahead, leave a comment. If you want me to make another video explaining my progression of narcolepsy, just let me know, because it was a long progressive thing. I got diagnosed at 25. My first symptoms started at age 11 or 12, and then as a child I was misdiagnosed with being bipolar, having depression and anxiety. People with narcolepsy do tend to have anxiety and depression, and then children who present with narcolepsy have mood swings, and that's how that was misdiagnosed for so long. It was 2 years after I had started having full collapses that they sent me for the sleep study. When I explained what was going on to doctors, they kind of looked at me weird, because it does sound crazy and it's not super common. I know working in the medical field, patients come in all the time thinking, oh, I have this or I have this, and testing shows, no, that's not what you got, but you got something else. So I hope everybody has a great morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever time of day it is for you. Thanks for my informative rant. Staying around till the end. Bye.